Hello, friends. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. So today I did my normal routine. Got up, helped get the kids ready. Lindsay's packing lunches, and we're getting the kids dressed for school. And I headed off to drop Ben off at kindergarten. You see his booster seat sitting back there behind me. Dropped him off this morning, and we are about 3 months into kindergarten, something like that. And you're going to have to forgive me, I'm emotional today. But I dropped him off, like I always do, there at the front of the school in the car rider line, and he's getting his backpack on and getting his lunchbox, and he's getting out, and we're in a hurry because there's these other cars behind us, but he always comes from the back door up to the front door and through the window signs, "I love you, Dada," and he's yelling at me, "I love you, Dada." And I just adore that kid. Y'all, light of my life. I love that little boy so much. And if you know my story, there's a very bittersweet, precious part of my story that includes Ben as a baby. And so he's just, I just love him. But I was thinking about the first couple of weeks of dropping him off for kindergarten for the first time, and how, man, especially those first 3 or 4 days, I cried every day dropping him off. It's like, no, it's not just the moms crying, dropping their kids off. I was. Because it's such an end of one era and a beginning of another. And I didn't cry today, but I almost did. I haven't been emotional dropping him off in quite some time, but today I got a little emo. And I drop him off, and I'm listening to Brené Brown, to an audio book with Brené Brown on my way to work, which was not a great combination, because Brené Brown always makes me cry, always, because she's talking about vulnerability. She's talking about owning our stories. She talks a good bit about parenting. She talked today a lot about faith and spirituality, more than I'm used to hearing her talk about. And man, it was just such a good talk. But it just got me thinking about how we raise our children, okay? So I'm the Grace is Messy guy, right? And I talk often about the first 30 years of my life, and how I hated myself, and how I was always trying to live up to the expectations of other people, and I was always trying to be somebody I wasn't, because I didn't think that who I was enough. And I was never the baseball kid or the football kid or the competitive kid. There's really not a competitive bone in my body. I'm a social butterfly. I just want to talk to you. I just want to sit and have a cup of coffee or a beer or a chocolate chip cookie, and let's just talk, because we're friends, and I want to know your story, and I want you to know mine, and I want to encourage you, and I want you to know how much you matter. And that's what matters to me: connection, relationship, validation. Those are the things that matter to me. I don't give a rat's ass about T-ball, Little League, any of that stuff. And if you do, that's okay. Please don't hear, please, Lord, the opposite of what I want is for you to hear shame from that. It's just not my thing. It never was my thing. But there was always pressure, not from my parents, no, but from others, for me to be that kid, to play baseball, to go play flag football, to play, all the neighborhood games that boys play growing up, and I just never cared about that. Now, I also wasn't the gamer. I was the writer. I wanted to write. I could have been in my room writing for hours by myself and been okay. Or just been hanging out with my mama in the kitchen, or swimming in the pool with my mama, or, whatever. I either wanted to be creative and write, or sing, be at church, doing youth group stuff, drama practice, choir practice, or I wanted to be writing. And So anyway, I've talked about those first 30 years and how I was always trying to be somebody else, always trying to fit the mold of what a 10-year-old boy in the South is supposed to do, or an 11-year-old, or a 13-year-old, or a 17-year-old. And I never really fit that stereotypical mold. And I talk about these last 5 years since my suicide attempt and how I've learned to love me for the first time. It's a big deal. To embrace yourself. Do you know that there's a lot of shame around being the guy who always has to call somebody else to come fix something at your house, right? Anything. If something breaks at my house, I have to call somebody. If something breaks on one of our vehicles, I have to call somebody. And for me, there's a lot of shame around that because I'm not this manly man, right? Never cared about hunting or fishing or working on cars or having a hot rod. None of that stereotypical manly man stuff was ever me. But I was a damn good friend, I was a damn good youth pastor. I'm a damn good father. I am one hell of a daddy, right? I am good at that stuff because relationship matters to me, right? And so I started thinking about my kid, about that little boy that sits in that little seat right behind me. He didn't give a damn about competition. He doesn't care about baseball. He don't want to go play Little League with your little boy. I promise he doesn't, and that's okay. He wants to sit and draw. He loves to sit and draw superheroes. Now, y'all, I don't give a rat's behind about superheroes. I could care less about Star Wars. Never seen it. Never seen Star Wars. Never seen Star Wars. Don't send me hate mail. Never seen Lord of the Rings. None of that sci-fi fantasy hero. It's just, I want to watch The Notebook. I want to watch The Notebook, and you can get over it. Give me a rom-com, okay? I'm good, but I don't want to watch people blow each other up. I don't care about that. It's just not for me, and for Ben, it's not either. Now he wants to watch his superheroes. He wants to draw. He wants to build with Legos. He's not a gamer. He's not a baseball or football boy. He's not a soccer kid. And so all of this is going on in my brain this morning, and I'm thinking about the kind of dad that I want to be. Why y'all want to make me cry? I'm thinking about the kind of dad I want to be, and I'm thinking about how important this job is, this gift of parenting is, that I don't want to put all these unrealistic expectations on him. I don't want to try to make this kid somebody that he's not. I want to, what if we did this? And some of this is, what I'm about to say is some Brené Brown-ish stuff. What if we empowered our children to embrace who they are, right? There's Brené Brown talks about this. We are hardwired. Some people are hardwired to be an introvert. Some people are hardwired to be an extrovert. Some people are hardwired for competition. Some people are hardwired to be creative. All these different things. And so what if we helped our children discover what it is they're hardwired to do and then empowered them to embrace that, so that my little boy doesn't wake up at 30 and go, God, I've tried to be somebody else all my life. I've hated myself all my life. What if I empower him or my sweet, precious little daughter to be the person they are, to play, to love, to embrace whatever it is that makes them feel most alive, and do that with all their heart. If he wants to take cello lessons and study algebra hours on end, and whatever it is, to not put my expectations on him, to not put my fears on him, okay? So let's get real messy for a minute. Because I was molested as a little boy, I have a great big fat giant fear of my kids spending the night off. I have a great big fear of that. It is okay for them to spend the night off at grandparents' houses. Absolutely fine. But for them to spend the night off at a friend's house scares the shit out of me. Because I don't know you. I don't really know you. Maybe we've met at PTO night. Maybe we've met at open house. Maybe we go to church together, but I don't know you. And I don't know what goes on behind closed doors at your house. Now, you could flip that and say the same thing about me. You don't know me. You don't know what goes on behind the closed doors at my house, and you're absolutely right. But I'm at my house, and these are my kids. And so I have to work really, really, God, I have to work so hard to not project my fears on my children. They don't know I was molested when I was 4, and they don't need to know that right now. They just want to play. They just want to be with their friends. They're just relational, like me. They just want to be with people. Caroline, Grace, Austin. I mean, that child, you talk about social. Oh my gosh. She is so social. Ben is more the extroverted introvert like me. He needs his quiet time. He needs his alone time. But he also loves to be the center of attention at times too. What's the point of this conversation? Love your kids really well. Give them space. Let them stretch out and make a mess while they figure out who the hell they are. Don't put your unrealistic expectations or your unrealistic fears on your kids. Just love them. Trust them. Sure, your job is to protect them. Sure, your job is to guide them. But guide them with open hands. Guide them with a lot of space. Help steer them toward healthy choices and healthy relationships and healthy, safe places. Absolutely. But also give them room to make mistakes. Give them room to screw up. Give them room to figure out just who they are and love them right where they are, whatever that means. And when they get a little older, I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. Hey, Jane, I love you, friend. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, but one day I'll have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old. And even then, give them space to figure out who they are. And whatever they determine is their truth in that particular season, empower them to embrace it. Whether that means they are straight or gay, Christian or Buddhist or Muslim or none of the above, whatever that means. Whether they want to be a pastor, a paramedic, a policeman, whatever they decide they want to be. They want to stay in school forever and become an academic. They want to join the military. Whatever it means, just empower your children to embrace the truth of who they are, and you will never regret it. And they will never regret having you as a parent. They will be so thankful if you empower them to embrace the truth of who they are. That's all we all want. I just want somebody to empower me, to encourage me to be myself. I can't be you. I tried, I promise, I tried to be all of you and to be exactly who all of you wanted me to be for a long, long time. And when I started embracing myself, and I'm still in the process of doing that, I'm in the process of working through something right now that is a really big deal that I haven't embraced for a long time. And so when we get to that place and we give ourselves permission to be our truest selves, oh my gosh, we start to live. The trees become a little greener, right? The sky becomes a little bluer. Everything comes to life. And that's our goal with our kids, is to raise them to come to life, come alive. because we have given them that space and place and permission to do that. So, that's a little nugget of messy grace parenting for your Wednesday morning. Have a great day. See you soon.